now? I'm receiving very few responses. The strength is 32. So the question is, first one, DES uses dash bit plain text and dash bit key. So DES, data encryption standard algorithm, is a symmetric block cipher. It uses 64-bit plain text in a block. Every block will have 64-bit plain text. And the key size is 56 bits. So the answer is 64 and 56. Second question is, the size of DES subkey is dash bits. So once a 56 bits key is taken or shared between the sender and receiver, it applies key scheduling algorithm and then it generates a subkey in every round. So totally DES has 16 rounds. So it generates 16 subkeys. In each round, one subkey will be generated. The size of subkey is 48 bits, not 32. Many of you given 32, but the size of subkey is 48 bits. After applying the permutation choice 2, the size will be reduced to 48 bits. Compression will be done. So we discussed the design of DES algorithm and also some disadvantages, like not a disadvantage. DES can be broken by using some generic attacks, simply by improving the computational power. Later, triple DES was developed. The technique called triple DES again. So triple DES is a replica of DES, like whatever the internal structure is there for DES, like it uses feastal structure. DES uses the feastal structure where a plain text will be divided into two halves. Then it applies some round function with using some substitutions and permutations along with the XOR operation. Finally, the two halves, after performing some n number of rounds, two halves will be merged, swapped. Two halves will be swapped in order to generate the cipher text. That is the feastal structure. So that structure was followed by the DES. And in triple DES also, for encryption, same DES structure was followed. For decryption, again DES structure was followed. But the thing is, in triple DES, at center side, it will have two encryptions and one decryption, whereas at receiver side, two decryptions and one encryption will be there. Again, like DES, so triple DES can be broken. So within just by increasing the computational power. And so we know that triple DES and DES algorithms uses block cipher technique, where the size of the plain text will be divided into a number of blocks. Again, so every block will be represented with a binary representation. The data will be represented with the binary format, simply with the zeros and ones. And whatever the changes, suppose if there is any change in a plain text block, not in the entire plain text, in a single block, suppose there is a plain text X, so it's a concatenation of X0, X1, X2 and so on, Xn, where n is the number of blocks. If X0 is given, I mean, block subkey K1, then, so whatever this small modification is done, suppose if there is any modification in this block, a single bit, suppose X0 is the size of X0 is 64 bits, 11010, like this. So if this is the plain text, a simple modification, a single bit modification will affect the ciphertext. It will generate, so because it will give a significant difference or changes in the ciphertext, isn't it? So why it is going to differ in terms of bits, more bits, is because of the number of rounds it is going to use and the operations it is going to use. It uses substitutions, it uses some S boxes, and it is using 16 rounds of 16 rounds. So data will be processed in 16 rounds. So that is why, so a small modification or a change in the plain text will give the significant changes in the ciphertext. So that is called as the avalanche effect. So a desirable property of encryption algorithm, a small change in plain text will produce significant change in the ciphertext. So if you observe this, if you just consider this table, so total 16 rounds are there. So in round 0, if there is 1 bit difference, then it will become 6 bits difference in second round. It will become 21 bits, 35 bits, 39 bits, like that. The change in the number of bits will be increased. Okay, so it will be at the end, so here 34 bits. So it is all depends on the XOR operation which is going to perform. Not only in the plain text, sometimes the change in key also. So key is also having the length 56 bits. So if a single bit modification is there, then it will be modified. So it will be increased in the ciphertext. So it will also change in the ciphertext. So that is called as the avalanche effect. And the decryption process of DES is same as encryption process. Like in DES encryption, first it uses the initial permutation, then round 1, round 2, like that it applies 16 rounds of keys K1 to K16. So in between uses some XOR functions and round function will be applied. So a feature structure will be used. And in decryption, so this will be given. So whatever the generator, after 16 rounds, again, inverse initial permutation will be applied. Inverse permutation will be applied, and then 2 halves will be swapped. 2 halves will be swapped, and then it will be given to the generated ciphertext will be given to the decryption receiver. So at receiver side, again, it will process the same thing using all 16 subkeys of length 48 bit. And whatever the subkey is used for the last round of encryption will be used for first round in the decryption process. So uses the key in the reverse order. And K1, which is used in encryption, is used as K16 in decryption. So that is the procedure. Simply, whatever the operations, XOR operations, all the entire structure will be followed, but it will be done in the reverse order. The key will be done in the reverse order. And so exhaustive search. So brute force attack will be possible on DES. So like by dividing the key space into multiple, so total 56 bits are there. So the possibilities is 2 per 56 because it is a binary representation. Is by dividing the keys into multiple blocks, and by giving that multiple blocks to different machine multi-processing environments, it can be broken. So there are different, so it can be, so we can apply by using the software or the hardware design. So some some cryptanalysis was done on the DS, like in 1977. So Diffie-Hellman tried to obtain the plain text by using some special hardware, and it was broken within 12 hours. Okay, within 12 hours. and this with the cost. So hardware requires, so the machinery, so all the processing unit and all, right? So it requires this much amount. And also in 1993, so Wiener performed the cryptanalysis over the DES algorithm. So by using some special purpose hardware, and estimated time is 3.5 hours. Cryptanalysis. And in 1990s, some other hardware implementation was used to DES algorithm. Estimated time is 1 year. The cost was reduced, but the time was increased. But the thing is, whenever we are going to perform the cryptanalysis, we need to think about the time as well as the cost, because whatever the data shared between the sender and receiver, if it is valuable, so if if it has some value X, so whatever the cryptanalysis is pending, so if it the value of message is X, and if it is the amount used in order to obtain the plain text is greater than X, okay, suppose the amount used is Y, so if Y value is greater than X, it's waste, isn't it? Waste of applying the cryptanalysis. And also the time. Second constraint is time, because sometimes the data transmitted between the sender and receiver will be valid for certain amount of time, isn't it? Like some OTPs and all will be valid for a certain amount of time. So if the cryptanalyst is trying to obtain the plain text after 1 year, is there any use? Suppose if the limit is only for 6 months, or so the limit of the message is only for 6 months, is there any use? Nothing, right? And in 1998, Electronic Frontier Foundation, so again, so applied some cryptanalysis techniques in order to break the DES. Again, they have used the special purpose hardware. So estimated time is 3 days, and the cost is $200,000 US. Isn't it? So this is a representation of triple DES. So in the last class we discussed the triple DES, right? Simply performing the encryption and the decryption followed by the encryption over the plain text. And this is the pictorial representation of the DES, triple DES. And so if you observe, simply it is performing encryption followed by the decryption. So whatever the plain text we are going to do, you take by applying encryption, we'll get the ciphertext. By applying the decryption, again we'll get the same plain text. Plain text is P, right? So here, after this encryption, we'll get C. Again, after this decryption, here itself we are getting the P. Then we are going to encrypt. So applying encryption for 2 times and applying decryption for 1 time is nothing but applying encryption for 1 time over the plain text. So that is why we can say that it is a failed technique. Triple DES was not much secure, or so if there is a possibility of breaking DES, obviously triple DES can be breaked simply by increasing the computational power. And so is there any doubt in DES or triple DES? Techniques like symmetric encryption, which is of 2 types, block cipher as well as the stream cipher. So we are discussing the block cipher techniques. In that block cipher, so we discussed DES and triple DES algorithms. So the thing is, when DS or triple DS is used, the transmission is binary data, and the plain text may be anything, like it may be a text file, or it may be an image, or it may be audio, or it may be video. So whatever the type of the file is there. So cryptanalyst will try to get the plain text. So in block ciphers, so what will happen is entire plain text will be divided into a number of blocks. Every block will be encrypted individually. So if the data is image, if the data is in the image format, image will be in the form of pixels. So some of the, if the image is a RGB image, like colored image, then the entire pixels will not be occupied with RGB. So sometimes, so image will be placed at the center of the image, center, isn't it? Center of the plane. Sometimes the image will be, the RGB will be placed at the corner. So like that, the image will be divided into the pixels. So whatever the plain text we are going to encrypt, that image, encrypted image will be analyzed. So once the data is encrypted, that encrypted image will be like some blurred image. So cryptanalyst can easily get the plain text, can analyze, not getting, analyze, can easily analyze by looking at the image. It will not look like original plain text. Instead, it will looks like a blurred image or some morphing image like that. So what the cryptanalyst will do is, can easily identify, can easily assume that this might be the plain text like. So in order to overcome that, so we can use some modes of operation for DES algorithm. Like instead of applying the plain text, instead of dividing the plain text into, instead of encrypting the blocks separately, so whatever the block is encrypted, that will be used as the input to some other block. So there will be a connection between the blocks. So we can give some, we can use the generated output of one block in some other block. In that manner, we can increase the security of the algorithm just by using the different modes of operation. So here, these are the 5 modes of operation: electronic codebook, cipher block chaining, and cipher feedback, and output feedback counter. So first one is the electronic codebook mode, cipher feedback mode, and cipher chaining mode, output feedback mode, and counter mode. So these are the 5 techniques. So these are the pictorial representations of all modes of operation, like encryption and the decryption is there. So this is the first, electronic codebook is the first technique, modes of operation, and it's the simplest, because in this technique, it will not take the output of one plain text to the other plain text block. Instead, it will be the basic one. So this electronic codebook is a default mode. We can say that it is a default where each block will be encrypted individually. Okay, so each block will be encrypted individually. So here, if you observe, block of plain text is encrypted with a key. So if plain text block P1 is encrypted with some key, so P2 will be encrypted with the same key or using the sub key. So unique ciphertext. So here, for every block, unique ciphertext will be given. So there will not be any connection between the blocks of the plain text. Suppose if you observe the representation, the pictorial representation of this electronic codebook mode. So block of plain text P1. So 64 bits. Suppose if it is using the DES encryption algorithm, obviously it is 64 bits. So it uses key and it will take the DES encryption algorithm and it produces the ciphertext. And block 2 again uses the some other plain text. So like that, it is a default one. And in the decryption side, it simply takes the ciphertext and applies the decryption algorithm of DES and it produces. And coming to the second one, cipher block chaining mode. Cipher block chaining mode, this will use the output of one block in another block. Same plain text blocks will be produced different ciphertext blocks. Same plain text, suppose P1, so if it has n number of blocks, P1 to Pn, assume that P1, block P1 and block P7 are having the same set of information. The 64 bits are same. Even though it has 64 bits, same data, but the ciphertext produced will be different. So internally, the data is same, but the ciphertext will be different. Why? Because if we use electronic code book, we'll get the same data, ciphertext, but by using the cipher block chaining, it will produce the different. Why? Because output of one will be used to another block. Ciphertext of P1 will be used to the P2 block. So what it is going to do is, it is going to perform the XOR operation. It is going to perform the XOR operation with each plain text. With each plain text, and whatever the ciphertext is produced, that will be used as the input to the next block. So if you observe the representation, you can go through the description. So here, this is the representation, cipher block chaining mode. So what it is specifying is, so initially plain text block P1 is used. So before going to perform the encryption, it is using the XOR operation. So this symbol, so throughout the subject, this XOR operation will be used in almost all the algorithms will use the XOR operation. So XOR operation will be used with what? Plain text will be XORed with initial vector. So this is nothing but initial vector. So it will take an initial vector where the size of initial vector is same as the plain text block. So if the plain text is 64-bit, initial vector size is also 64-bit, and then it performs the XOR operation. Whatever the result it is getting from the XOR operation, that will be encrypted using the key. Then ciphertext will be generated. That ciphertext will be given as the input to the block 2. So now in block 2, P2 will be there. Plain text block P2 will be there. That will be XORed with C1. P2 will be XORed with C1. Means Pi, if there is a block Pi, so Pi will be XORed with Ci minus 1. Ci minus 1. And it produces the ciphertext. And finally, the last block will be XORed with the plain text of last block will be XORed with the previous block ciphertext. So that is the procedure. Simply, before going to perform applying the encryption algorithm like this, it applies XOR operation using plain text as well as the initialization vector. So where the size of initialization vector is same as the size of the plain text. And at decryption side, so first it will take a block of ciphertext, 64-bit ciphertext, and that will be given to the decryption directly. That will be given to the decryption algorithm. Whatever the generated data is there, that will be XORed with the initialization vector. Same, whatever the initialization vector is used for encryption, that will be used for decryption as well. At decryption side for XOR operation, initialization method will be used. And the result will be plain text. But plain text will not be used for the second block. Instead, the ciphertext itself will be used. If you observe the decryption, so ciphertext is used for the XOR operation after the decryption. Means here from C2, if it is getting some text, temporary text will be generated. So here some temporary will be generated. So that T2 will be generated. So this T2 will perform XOR operation with C1. Okay. So T2 will be performed XOR operation with C1 and the result is the plain text P2. This is the cipher block chaining mode. So here also security will be in this cipher. So though it is an image, so ciphertext will be scattered, so blocks will be using one block, ciphertext will be used to one block. So the generated output will be scattered over the plane. So a cryptanalyst will not easily identify the plain text. And the third technique is cipher feedback mode. So in this cipher feedback mode, so how the plain text or the generated ciphertext will be used is, initially it uses whatever the plain text size is there, 64-bit. So first it will use some S number of bits. It will take some S number of bits and then it applies some left shift operation. It applies the left shift over the data and then it performs the XOR operations. So you can go through this description. If you observe the representation here, see. Initially, some initialization vector and the size of initialization vector is 64 bits. So it will take some S bits. It will take a random value between 0 to 64 and it will subtract that S bits from the 64 bits. So it divides the data into two blocks, like 64 minus S bits and the S bits. And then it performs the shift operation. So the left shift operation, this left circular shift operation will be performed and then shift, so that the bits will be shuffled. Okay, permutation will be done. Then the generated output is 64 bits. The 64 bits will be encrypted. Using what? Using the key. And again, it generates the 64 bit. Again, it is going to take whatever the random value which is considered after the initialization vector. Again, it selects that many number of bits. And then it takes only those bits, S number of bits. And it takes the plain text. So the plain text size is S bits. Block 1, plain text size is S bits. It performs the XOR operation. Performs XOR operation and ciphertext will be generated. That will be given to the next block. So like that, here in cipher feedback mode also it uses the initialization vector and the output of one block will be used to the input to the next block. At the decryption side, so what it is going to do is, again, so it takes the initialization vector, whatever is there at the encryption side, the sender side will be considered. Again, it will choose a random value. It will subtract the random value from 64 bits and it performs the encryption. And then it will perform the XOR operation. XOR operation with the generated 8 bits. And here it uses the ciphertext. ciphertext will be generated, isn't it, at the encryption side. That ciphertext will be used for the XOR operation. So if you observe in cipher feedback mode, plain text is not encrypted. Plain text is not used for encryption. Again, so this is decryption. So again, for decryption, ciphertext is not used. So ciphertext and plain text are used only for the XOR operations, to perform the XOR operations. And coming to the next technique, that is output feedback mode. So the structure is similar to the cipher feedback mode. So here also it uses the initialization vector. It uses the initialization vector, and it uses a random value. It will select a random value S, and it is going to subtract S from the 64-bit, because the size of initialization vector is 64-bit. And then it applies encryption. Then it will select S bits, and whatever the S bits are selected, those S bits will be given to the next block instead of giving. So in cipher feedback, if you observe the cipher feedback mode, whatever the result is there for the XOR operation, that result, the result of XOR operation has given to the next block. Whereas in the output feedback, before going to perform the XOR operation, that will be given to the second block. Okay. So that S bits will be performed with the XOR with plain text and produces the ciphertext. So that is the only difference between output feedback and cipher feedback mode. And coming to the next technique, block cipher modes of operation, is a counter technique. So here, what is the structure of this counter technique is, it uses, so we'll go with the representation, encryption and decryption process. It uses a counter where the size of the counter is also same as the size of the plain text size. And that will be encrypted. First, the counter will be encrypted using the key. Then plain text will be performed, will be used to give the with XOR operation. And ciphertext will not be given. Whatever the block 1 ciphertext is there, that will not be used as the output, as the input to the second block. Instead, it uses some other set of bits, so which is considered as a counter plus 1. So counter value will be incremented. Simply, it will discard the carry. So counter plus 1 will be used. And the counter plus 1 is also 64-bit. That will be encrypted. Then plain text will be XORed with the encrypted data. At decryption side, again the counter will be used. The 64-bit counter will be used, and it will be decrypted. So it will be decrypted in order to produce the plain text. And ciphertext will be used to perform the XOR operation. So these are the different modes of operations. These are the different types of modes of operations. Okay. And so to overcome the disadvantages of DES, so there was a technique So a technique was developed later, DES algorithm, that is AES algorithm, Advanced Encryption Standard. Advanced Encryption Standard technique was developed. So we'll see the description of AES and we'll see the implementation in the next class. So before going to discuss AES, all of you answer this question. I'll give one poll question, all of you answer. Is all of you answer this question? Yes, only 9 students submitted. And the answer is, question is, DS round function uses expansion. Yes, it uses the expansion technique in order to perform the round function with subkey. So subkey, the size of subkey is 48 bits. So DS uses initially 64-bit plain text is divided into two halves, 32 and 32. That is right, 32 will be expanded in order to perform the XOR operation with the key, subkey. So answer is true. So the next technique is advanced encryption standard. Is an algorithm like a DES algorithm. It is also a block cipher technique. AES is a block cipher technique. It is a symmetric block cipher technique. So whatever the key is used at sender side, the same key will be used at receiver side, because but the security of AES is more compared to the DES algorithm because of its the complex structure. So just we'll go to the description of AES. So DES, we know that many developers has broken the DES algorithm, isn't it, by using some hardware or some software. So DES was broken, and so it can use different types of techniques like generic and the non-generic attacks over the DES. So different types of attacks can be done over DES, like chosen plain text, non-plain text, chosen ciphertext, like that. So it was proved that DES can be broken. So just in the previous, the last slides we have seen. So the cost, how much cost they have spent in order to break DES, and how much time, how much time required to break the DES, right? So to overcome that disadvantage, so triple DES came into the picture. Triple DES, but triple DES also failed. Okay, so why? Because the size of block and triple DES is 64 bit. So 64 bits size means it is very less. Generally, plain text, if we take an image, if we convert that into the binary, so we'll have n number of bits, not only 60 bits. So the size will be huge. If it is a video file or audio file, the size of the video will be very huge. So dividing that into 64 bits and encrypting that into individually, it is not, it will not provide the security. So that is why, the size of the DES block size is very less in DES. So that is why we can use some other technique, advanced encryption standard. So you just go through the description, the history of the, yes. Mainly the persons who developed this AES algorithm, two persons developed AES algorithm. The names of two persons is combined with a single name. That is, this is the name, another name for AES algorithm, advanced encryption standard, or this RIJNDAEL. I don't know the pronunciation. So you see, another name for triple DES. Another name for AES algorithm. See, so two persons were developed. So this fellow, Belgian and John Damon. So these two, was developed. So it was given the name. And this AES algorithm is a symmetric block cipher. And it is different from DES because every block cipher algorithm like DES or AES or triple DES will have, we need to think about things like what is the plain text size and what is the key size, what number of rounds, and also subkey will be generated. What is the size of the subkey? So based on all these things, the complexity will be increased or decreased. So the complexity of the algorithm always depends on all these factors. These are the parameters like plain text size, key size, number of rounds, sub key, and all. So here for AES algorithm, the plain text size is 128 bits. 128 bits. Plain text size is 128 bits. And the key size is like this. Key size is not like, sometimes one algorithm can use 128-bit key, and one algorithm can use the same AES 160-bit, 192-bit, 224-bit, 256 bits, like that. So key size is different, whereas in DES key size is 56 bits. It is fixed, and the plain text is 64-bit. It is also fixed. For AES, key size will be different. So here, sometimes plain text will be different, but the standard version of AES is plain text is fixed. In standard version of AES, plain text is fixed to 128, but key size is different. The key size is 128, 192, and 256. Suppose if we use key of 128-bit, then it is AES. The name of algorithm is AES 128-bit. If we use 192-bit, then it is AES 192. And if we use 256, it is AES 256. We'll see the implementation in the next class. You can leave now. Thank you.